it will come in a case, and if you open the case, you will see the TENS unit itself here, and then there will be some batteries, and then there will be some electrode wires like this. So the first thing that you'll need to do is to put the batteries in. So if you turn over the TENS to the back and slide this out, you'll see there's a battery area to put the batteries in. Mine are already in there. Okay, so then you're going to close it back up. All right, and then what you're going to need to do is put the electrode wires in. So the wires are in order to bring the electricity from the little unit into you. When you look at the wires, you will see that there is a straight end and a bent end. The bent end goes in the machine. You'll see at the top of the machine there are two little holes. You put the bent end in, push it all the way in, and then you're going to take the electrodes. So if you are having post-op, you're using the TENS for post-operative pain, your electrodes will be placed by your surgeon. If you're using TENS more for other types of pain, then you might be applying them yourself. I'm going to show you how to set it up with the electrodes as if you were doing it yourself. So the electrodes come in a little bag. There are 4 electrodes in the bag. And what you're going to do is take the straight end of the electrode wire and push it into the little hole here on the electrode. So you want to push it all the way in so that there's no metal showing. Okay. Now, there are 4 electrodes. You can use either 2 or 4 electrodes when you're using the TENS on yourself. If you have a small area of pain, you would use 2. If you have a larger area of pain, you would use 4. I'm going to show you first how to do it on my arm, and then we'll talk about how you might place it on your low back. So now what we need to do is apply the electrodes. So we're going to pretend that I have an elbow problem. So I'm going to show you how I would put the electrodes on my elbow. So when you use the electrodes, you want to try not to touch them any more than you have to, because they're sticky, and the more you touch them, the more sticky stuff you lose. So I'm going to peel it off, trying just to touch the very edge of it, and I'm going to put the area of pain in between the 2 electrodes. So if we're pretending that my elbow is hurting here, I'm going to put one below the elbow, and then I'm going to peel the other one off, and I'm going to put the other one above. So now I have one below and one above. If you were going to use the TENS unit on a bigger area, you would need to use 4 electrodes. So we already have one set of wires plugged in with the control right next to it. Now we're going to plug the next set in. Same thing, the bent end goes into the machine, and then the straight end goes to the electrodes. And in order to place the electrodes, what I would do is put the area of pain in the middle of the electrode. So I might put one electrode here above the area of pain, and then hooked into the same electrode, that same wire, put the other one lower and to the opposite side. And then the next set, you would do the same thing, so that what you get is kind of the area of pain in the middle, and we have kind of a crisscross pattern. If you had more leg pain, then what you could do is use 2 electrodes on the back and then use 2 electrodes down on the leg. So if you had upper back or neck pain, you could do the same thing. So you would put your electrodes crisscrossed, with the same idea as in the low back. Now, in order to turn it on, we're going to open the front door of the unit. So there's a little door right here. You're going to flip it down, and you'll see the controls. The first control that we're going to talk about is the on-off button. That's this button right here. So if you push that button, the unit should come on. And there you can see that the screen is got some things on it. Okay. The next thing we need to do is decide the mode, or there's lots of different ways you can set the TENS unit. So we're going to pick one of the pre-programmed modes, and that comes to right here. there's a mode button right there. It's the top row, the second one from the right. So if you push the mode button, some choices will come up and you can see them on the screen. So right now it's on constant mode. That's not one I recommend. It's just continuous tens and people get used to it really fast and you have to keep turning it up. So that's not one I recommend. You can do what's called burst mode. That's another choice. That's a good mode to choose. There's 2 burst modes. So the second burst mode, they each feel a little different. Or you can use one of the modulation modes. So there's modulation 1 and modulation 2. So either one of the burst modes or one of the modulation modes are what I recommend. So I'm going to go ahead with this modulation mode right here. So now I've got it on, I've chosen my mode, and the last thing you can think about is the timing. So there's a little timer here. It looks like a clock face that's right below the mode button, and you can push it and you can choose 60 minutes, 30 minutes, or continuous mode. So I'm going to choose that was a 15. Okay, so I'm going to choose a 30 minutes. So you can choose 60, 30, or 15. Okay, and that will it will go for that amount of time and then automatically shut off. And now I'm going to close that window, and now we're going to turn the unit on, and we turn the unit on at the top of it with these 2 dials. So the dial on the right takes care of these electrodes that are hooked into that right side. The dial on the left we're not using right now. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the unit on, and I'm going to feel a little bit of buzzing or tingling, and I can definitely feel that right now. So I feel a tingling and buzzing here and here, and I can kind of feel it going right along my elbow. Some people describe it as like a feeling like something crawling. Some people say it's tingling. What we want to do is turn it up so that you can definitely feel the tingling fairly strong, but not so high that it bugs you. You'll get better pain control the stronger you can tolerate it on, but we don't want it to be causing more discomfort. So you go ahead and turn it up as high as you need to feel it nice and strong. Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit stronger here. Oops, I went the wrong way. So that's coming nice and strong. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's really tingling, but I'm not getting any muscle twitching. So I don't really want the muscle twitching, but that's really, really tingling. When you're ready to turn it off, you're going to go ahead and turn down the dial so that you no longer feel the electricity. So I'm no longer feeling it there. If you have set the timer, it will automatically turn off the electricity after that time, but then you want to go ahead and turn the unit off because otherwise you'll use up the batteries. So then you would go ahead and turn the unit off. When you do that, you're going to have to hold the on-off button down, and then you'll see the screen go black. Then what you're going to want to do is peel the electrodes off. Again, you want to try not to handle them any more than you have to, and then you're going to put them on your paper again. Again, I'm trying not to handle it. And then they get